Good evening.
Good evening.
Heartily welcome to each one of you. Today's study circle meet. Today we have selected the most apt topic for the season: recent amendments to Companies Act 2013 and Significant Beneficial Owners Rule 2018. Friends, to share knowledge in this topic, we have an eminent speaker, J. Sundharesan, a leading company secretary. May I request branch vice chairman to escort the speaker onto dais. And also welcome him to the floor to okay. Friends, please welcome the speaker. Thank you, C.S. Robert. It is my pleasure to introduce the speaker to this August gathering. J. Sundharesan, a commerce graduate from University of Madras, member of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India, and also law graduate from Annamalai University and Karnataka University. Plus, he had several membership of societies like Society of Corporate Compliance and Ethics (CCEPI) USA, member of Center for Corporate Governance, member of Institute of Directors, members of Association of Secretaries and Managers, Calcutta. J. Sundharesan is a corporate legal advisor. Presently, he is also practiced under the name and style of J. Sundharesan and Associates. His firm specializes in corporate consulting and advisory. He specializes in ethics, compliance, and governance. In short, ECG. He is a life coach for directors, board strategist, and compliance guru. He conducts role play in real life for board members who are in stress and distress, and he assists and trains minority shareholders in resolving issues. He educates and trains boards, senior management, and advisors through role play on issues relating to governance, compliance, and risks. He primarily addresses on subjects relating to roles, responsibilities, rights, duties and liabilities, CSR, corporate governance and corporate compliance for board members. He is a principal faculty at the Institute of Directors, where he has trained more than 2,500 members and is rated as a must-hear. He is a visiting professor at the Institute of Management and Technology, IMT, for corporate governance. He is a regular speaker for ICI and Institute of Company Secretaries of India and other forums. With this brief introduction, I present J. Sundharesan before you. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome once again. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and as usual, I'm back. But this time, there is a long gap. It's almost a year and a half that after which I'm meeting you. Of course, the topic that's given to me by the branch is something very exciting. Exciting not because of the topic, actually because of the work. And as chartered accountants, trust me, you are responsible for almost everything now. Today, in fact, I don't know if you had the opportunity to read Economic Times. There is a nice article by Robin Benecial. He says, policing of chartered accountants. Now, it has come to that stage actually, which is not all that great, but if you really look at it, why this policing? Because anything and everything requires a sign off from a chartered accountant. Now, this topic which we are going to go through by the end of the first hour, I'll just split it into two portions. You will find that there is a term called significant influence. Trust me, even the regulator doesn't know what it is. Forget chartered accountant. It's so tough. It's so tough for you to really go into the details, find out what is significant influence, and there is another word which is called control. Now see, control from a shareholding point of view is very easy. All of you know, if there is a fixed, say 20%, you know that there is some control. But what I am going to go through today is something very different. That is why I told you that the topic is very interesting, but not the work. So let us just see what it is. And let's make it interactive. Please stop me, and if you have any doubt, wherever, I'm okay. So, okay, this is what I do. Of course, the presentation will be with you, so don't worry about the finer details of what is put here. I'm just going a little, fast on this. This is very important. This is called transformative value education. Now, these 2 hours that you are going to spend with me, I always believe, every presentation that I make, if you take at least one point from this whole session and try to implement it somewhere, my day is done. So that is what is called transformative education. It's not one way where I have done a lot of research and I am trying to give it out to you, and I trust that you take it back and then try to implement it in some way in your professional life. Of course, Companies Act. The journey has been so beautiful. Of course, I have been part of this journey, you have been part of this journey last 5 years. And more so for the Bangalore branch, I think I have made a lot of appearances on various topics. So this is not something new, so I am not going to go into details on what this Companies Act is, but look at the interesting things that we are going to see. Last 9 months, somebody has kept us very busy. Not only us, the businessman. So, for the entrepreneur and for the professional, I think we have been very busy in the last 9 months. It started with April. The regulator came with disqualification of directors. And you saw what happened. Today people are still struggling to do the KYC and things like that to prove that they are directors or they are not directors or whatever. Then in May came this strike off. People said it's a surgical strike. No, it was a very planned strike. And you saw how many companies have gone out of the system. Out of 1 million companies, we hardly have around 300,000 really good companies today still surviving and some waiting to go. Then in June came the FDI reporting. Now that was something which was unexpected. That is a surgical strike actually. Suddenly the Reserve Bank of India said, no, this is the format that I want all your reporting, so it kept us busy. Then came the usual reporting, which was the ARFA. Then of course in August, which was the most exciting part of the year, which is Director DIR KYC. Code A Chor. KYC, you have different interpretations. So I don't know if the government was really going after people who are chores. Which became like, suddenly there are Nirav Modis and Malayas who escaped this country, without their passport, making it available to the government. So now one mandatory thing is, you need to give your passport. So if you don't have a passport, you cannot incorporate a company. No, that's on a later stage. And if you have to celebrate or give it to the government. Then we have September, where the EBS portal came and created a huge ruckus for us. Then October, I thought it will be very exciting for us, which is there is a BEN 2 and a BEN 3. That is the topic for discussion today, and I'll tell you what it is all about, which is beneficial ownership related provisions. Then November we will all be running behind NGT 7, which is the annual return, and of course December there is something in the pipeline which is called corporate KYC. That is the next after DIR KYC, there is something which is in the pipeline which is called corporate KYC. So let us see what it is. So disqualification, I will not get into too much of details on this, just to give a heads up on what happened. There were so many number of people who went out of the system and why they went, and then we started probing. Then there were disqualifications, which was 164, which did not allow persons to become a director, and then whatnot. There was too much of struggle. You won't believe there were private equity players, who had lent their name, and then the company went into problems, they got disqualified. Now when it is disqualified, it means disqualified for life. And to correct that situation, we had to run to NCLT, then a lot of these complications to ensure that person is not disqualified. Then after disqualification, of course, came the big thing which is called the strike-off. Strike-off actually got a lot of live companies, dead companies live, all these things happened, and God alone knows how many many survived, how many did not survive in this whole thing. But there was a massive cleanup which happened, amazing, and which ensured that a lot of the dormant companies went out of the system. Then we had a CODS, of course, which is seeking pardon, which was open for a very short time, and then people were made to give 30,000 rupees and then try to revive companies. It all happened, but nothing great actually came out of this scheme. Then we had the FDI which came in, which was, as I told you, RBI's initiative to get all the foreign investment. If you have not filed something, then that means all your future issues you cannot do it. That is, any foreign investment you get, you may not be able to go ahead and accept foreign investments. Another amazing thing which came. Then of course came the KYC. KYC is know yourself, which is the director's KYC which came. I just returned some of these articles up on the LinkedIn, which is once a director, always a director. Which means if you had applied then for fun, you are dead and out. Which means you cannot get out. If you are a director in a company for a day. Now, if you are not a director in a company, then you have still a chance to file the DIR file, which is to get out of the system by surrendering your debt. But even one day, if you are a director, you cannot get out of the system. Then we had Achhe Din ya Bure Din, not that din. People kept on asking, din is director identification number. So people did not know to identify whether a din was good din or a bad din. You had multiple din, duplicate din, all this became a problem. Then I asked people, is it a sin to hold a din? Which is, you have to go through the process of KYC whatsoever, even if you are present. The latest which I have written is, please understand, if a director has already resigned from your company, that person would not have done a KYC. Looks like even that person will have to get a KYC done if you have to file your annual return. So we are getting into some extreme steps as far as the regulator, but it's okay when people are trying to track. So for the last 1.5 years, every person who was there as a director, he or she will be tracked. Then of course, just some points on that. Now what is coming up? There is another lovely thing which is coming up, which is Decriminalization of Companies Act. Now what does this mean? Very simple. Section 185, if you had by mistake given some loan or taken some loan as far as the director is concerned, the director will be imprisoned. No, it is the person's money, right? So how can you imprison someone for stealing their own money or taking their own money, right? So they are trying to rework on the entire Companies Act. Wherever there is imprisonment, they are trying to dilute. Now the dilemma there is this. There are two things. One is fine, another is penalty. Now, as and when it comes, we will discuss in detail, but for now, it is only a trailer for you, which is, please understand there are two terms that are used. One is penalty, another is fine. Now, which one is better? This is what people are trying to explore. Whether it is good to have paid a fine and got out of the system, or is it better for penalization? Penalization means you are delegating the powers to the ROC. Which means you and I will have to go and sit before the local regional or local register of companies, and he or she can decide what is the quantum of fine that I need to levy. So think, this is what is going to come in. So now getting into the main topic for the day, which is Significant Beneficial Owner, SBO. Now before that, there is something called, it's not UFO, by the way, it is UBO. UFO is something different. Unidentified flying object. This is UBO, which is Ultimate Beneficial Owner. Any idea who this person is? There are three players in this. One is BO, which is Beneficial Owner. Second is SBO, which is Significant Beneficial Owner. Then there is a third person which is called UBO, which is called Ultimate Beneficial Owner. Now to put it in simple terms, people say UBO is the grandparent. That is the ultimate grandparent. So who is SBO? Parent. Who is BO? Child. All of you agree that it's child? As we go along, you will realize that it is the illegitimate child. Look at the interpretation interpretation, complete flaw in the drafting. Are you getting it? Beneficial owner is the person who is holding shares on behalf of another person whose name is entered in the register of members. This is supposed to be the definition, okay? SPO should be that person's parent, technically speaking, correct? See how it is drafted, then we will see where I am coming from, where I am telling you it is illegitimate child. There is no connection at all. They have cut it off. Now what is the cutoff? Now think time, what is the cutoff date to start working? Don't worry. I thought, when CA or Bangalore branch had booked me about 2 months back, I thought something will be there for me to talk. Regulator would have brought in some changes to this whole thing. Nothing. Even the forms has not got released. There was a deadline which has crossed long back, extension crossed long back, nothing inside. So don't worry, relax. This is only for you to know the concept now, because there is nothing which has become law. Do you think entrepreneurs would have not restructured their shareholding? No. You created all this saying that I want to know who the ultimate person is who is holding 10% of the shares, or it's called UBO, right? What was the purpose? Very simple. There are a lot of these Benami companies. Right? Benami companies means you have company and then company and then company and then around 8 layers, and then finally that company will be held by an individual. Right? Now the task force wants to know who that final individual is. Please understand this. So I don't want a non-living entity. I want a living entity. So far clear? So what am I trying to do with this whole rule? I am trying to hunt for the real person, real natural person who is a living human being, who is an individual. Clear? And if this concept is clear, then we can go on, which is very important. What is the ultimate purpose? I have told you. So I need to track the final individual who is holding shares in your company. So I don't want any Benami. How can a person whose name is not entered in the register of members be a member? Now this is the big question that we will face when we are discussing today, which is the entire definition of significant beneficial holder has changed. It says, if I have identified the individual who is beyond these 8 companies, and I have identified that fellow to be X, that X will be the member of your company. Now you are rewriting entire company law, right? Member is a person whose name is entered in the register of members. That's all I know. I mean, of course, we are also learning something new, right? So this law says a member is a person whose name is not entered in the register of members. No, I always tell people, thank God we all passed CA and CS exams early. It is becoming so complicated that, the students are going to struggle, right? I mean, I am teaching on one side that it is member whose name is entered. Now here is a rule which has come which is saying, here is a member whose name is not entered in the register of members. How can that be? Let's see. I mean, they will have their own way of interpretation, but let's see how to crack it. Now that is why my last question to you is, are we hunting for a zombie? Zombie is still okay, but are we hunting for a ghost? This UBO, what if it turns to be a ghost? I don't know. Because there is a name of that person is not entered in my register, but still that person is a member. Now the practical difficulties, please understand, multinational companies, say for example a Microsoft, Google or Yahoo, whatever, they may have operations in Bangalore. Who is the grandparent? It will take you to Mauritius, it will take you to Dubai, it will take you to Ireland, then it will take you to Switzerland, then it will bring you back to Singapore, and then finally in Nigeria you will find somebody who is holding the shares. What are the practical problems? Country-centric problems. What is country-centric problem? The laws in those countries relating to privacy and data protection are so high that they are not willing to release the private information. Now, I am not saying that my country is lagging anywhere behind. I am also on par, but we are at 10 years behind. This law should have come 10 years back. The purpose is that when money laundering has come now, so to back up this money laundering act, Benami Act is coming, and to back up the Benami Act, actually this SBO rules are coming. So are you getting the overall picture of where we are heading to on the significant beneficial owner? So this is what is the purpose of bringing out this rule. Now, look at this. These are the following players in this whole game. First one is called registered owner. Very simple. Whose name is registered according to me. But according to the SBO rules, a person whose name is not registered in the members register is also a registered owner. Next is BO. BO means beneficial owner. Now beneficial owner according to us, according to 1956 Act, read with 2013 Act 89 was a person who has filed Form 2 under the Beneficial Ownership Act 1956 or NGT 5 under the Companies Act 2013. But this rule says something different. Let's see. Then SBO. Now SBO is, I told you, it's supposed to be the father of BO. But there is no connection between SBO and SBO. And finally you have this UBO. UBO is a fellow who only BO and SBO knows. So let us slowly try to crack what this whole thing is. Now last I have just written one simple thing. The regulator wants to know who the UBO is, the ultimate beneficial owner is. And the clue is that person has to be an individual, which means a living person. Now, what is a living person? They have also brought in a crazy word called natural person. I don't know who is an unnatural person, but natural person. They even define who that natural person is. They have said a natural person is a living human being, an individual is a living human being, a person is a living human being but is an artificial. So I try to crack all those permutation combinations which can come up because of a natural person. Clear? So finally they have said no, natural person means company, firm, trust. They have said 3 plus one category called whatever, natural persons. Now we'll see what the natural persons is. So company is very clear, firm is very clear, trust is very clear. We are just going step by step to crack how to look for this UBO. So first one, the registered owner. Now look at the registered owner, who does not hold beneficial interest in such shares. Companies Act is completely changed, right? So we all know that registered owner means a person who is registered owner, which means registered means his or her name should have been entered in the register of members, who is a member. But the new definition which has come up is who does not hold beneficial interest in the shares, which means a person who is a pure member is only a member, which means is this provision contradicting the current provisions wherein for the purpose of incorporation of a 100% subsidiary, you have 99.99% held by a body corporate and 0.01% held by an individual who actually files NGT 5 saying that he or she is the beneficial owner. Now, who is this person? I don't know. I mean, it's a crazy question which is coming up. So, implied. Now, this was the meaning of beneficial owner as per 1956 Act and the 89 related, which is every person who holds or acquires a beneficial interest in the share of the company not registered in his name, which means the person has not paid for the shares, but the person is holding the shares and the person's name is entered in the register of members. Here, this is actually what was the definition. Now, this is what was the definition of beneficial owner. Now, please look at this. Every person holding an exempted from furnishing declaration or acquiring beneficial interest. Now, this says NGT 5 has to be filed, which is as per now the interpretation goes that a beneficial owner is a person who has filed Form 2 or NGT 5 with the registrar of companies, which is persons holding that one share for the limited purpose of incorporating a company. Now what is beneficial interest? There is something called beneficial interest. Now look at this. What it says is two things. One is interest in the form of rights attached to the shares, and number two, the person should receive dividend on these shares. Clear? Obviously. So if a person has invested 1 lakh rupees and he asks a person to be a shareholder without putting money, that person, according to the local language, it's called Benami, but that person is holding the shares for the last shareholder. One type of Benami. Second type of Benami is very simple, which is I give you money, you put the money in the company, and the shares are held by you on behalf of me. Please understand, the first one is very easily traceable. Second one, can you trace it? That is where the issue is. I should not specifically say politician's money or whatever. Any money which has come into the system, which is not put by the person who has it, but is routed through a third party in whose name the shares are being held. Which means all the dividend that this character is going to receive, he will automatically encash it in, hand it over back to that original person, either in cash or in kind. Clear? So, beneficial interest in very simple interest is this. I mean, the simple terms is this. Clear? So, two types. One, I can identify the flow of money. Second category, I cannot identify the flow of money. Okay, now where to look for and how to look for? You know, it's very difficult actually. You know, it's not very easy. So, very simple shareholding test. There are only two tests that go for this rule, which is one is called the shareholding test, another is called the control test. Now I am discussing shareholding test. Where will you look for? Very simple. You would have filed a form 2, you would have filed an NGT file, you are going to file a BEN 2. So basically these are the three forms which are going to throw up saying that, hey, this is the person who is a nominee who is holding the beneficial interest on behalf of somebody. Clear? Very simple, there is no rocket science. It is available in black and white in the books. But from a CA point of view, where the challenge is, the next test, which is called the control test. That is where my worry is, and that is where you need to be very careful. This is absolutely no problem. You can see it, you can read it, there is no issues. Am I clear? So the first part of the exercise is absolutely not an issue. Clear? Now, when it comes to nominee, okay, this is just a small heads up. What we used to do, very simple. Under the old, I'm just taking you a little more deeper into that subject, which is where to look for this form. We used to take form number 1 from the minority, that is the single shareholder, which is a nominee. We used to take form 2 from the majority, which is the person on whose behalf the shares are held, and we used to consolidate in form 3, which used to be filed in 22. That is what is the 22, which used to be the old 1956 law. Because when you are going to trace from incorporation, you need to look at 1956 and you have to look at 2015. So 2013. So 2013, what did you do? You had an NGT 4, NGT 5 and an NGT 6. That is same, similar, 1, 2, 3. Same thing was replaced with NGT 4, 5, 6. So as professionals, where will I look for this shareholding? I will try to track form 3. I will try to track NGT 6. Basically, this is what I call it black and white, which is available in the books, which you can see. Now, the grey matter is what we are going to get into, which you cannot see. And that is where the challenge lies. And that is where, in every company, now people will start poking their nose into the notes to accounts, where they will check if the auditor has very clearly brought out the characteristics of significant influence. Now, how do I track that character? Which is, who is controlling my company? That is what you need to see. So basically, the significant beneficial owner, if you see the definition, I have just highlighted those things in dark, in black, which is, means an individual but whose name is not entered in the register of members of a company as the holder of such shares. Are we clear? So beneficial owner was somebody who we could see. Significant beneficial owner is somebody whom you cannot see. Clear? So what they said, okay guys, now 100% is held by two body corporate company, not body corporate, I'll use the word company. So am I exempt from these SBO rules? Your next question, no? Am I exempt? No. That is where the meaning is given. If you look at it, if the member is a company, what you should do? Get on to find who is invested in that company. Now the joke is, if that company also is held by two company, go to the next one where there is individual. That is also company. So where will this end? This is called Vastraharan, you know. Where will this Vastraharan stop? Or the beneficial owner thing stop? It stops till such time you track the individual. So I was speaking to the committee member, he said, November, December, no work, sir. Wait. So I said, wait. So this SPO is going to keep you so busy, please understand, you have to go tracking. Or you have to keep asking. If it's a multinational, please start circulating and say, please find your parent. Somebody has to give your that individual person who is actually ultimately controlling your interest. Clear? Now.
Please. So you underlined that one line there which says whose name is not entered in the register of members. Now, in a situation that you've given, if it is a company, the company is entered as a member and they are also the beneficial owner, then we don't need to go through this find the natural person.
Okay, I'll put that, correct me if my understanding is wrong. So you are saying, if that company which is holding the shares has already filed NGT 5 or NGT 6.
No, they didn't have to because they are the registered owner and the beneficial owner. So
okay.
They are one and the same.
But where did you establish the fact that they are the beneficial owner? No, I'm just asking. It's okay. Are you getting the point? Your first question is right, which is they are a member. I leave it. I don't have to look beyond that. But when you said beneficial owner, I just concluded my slide where I said there are only two forms which can throw up whether you are a beneficial owner or not, which is Form 2 backed with Form 3, MGT 4 filed backed with MGT 6.
My understanding is that I only need to file MGT 5 if I am a corporate, but I am not the beneficial owner. I am a corporate as a nominee of another corporate or another individual. Then I have to file MGT 5.
The beneficial owner in that case would have given that 2 and 4. Understand, there are 3 forms. If you are only a nominee, you would have given 1, you would have given MGT 4. The beneficial owner in turn should have given 2 and MGT 5. In turn, company should have filed 3 and MGT 6. Unless these forms are not filed, that's why I said that is black and white. Now we are getting into the grey world. Good, you are not able to see, I am also not able to see. But government is saying see.
So, which means that if I am having a company in which another company is a body corporate and they are the beneficial owner, I still have to file MGT 5 for them?
Exactly. You have to track that fellow and that fellow's name you have to give. But here, please understand, if it's a body corporate, I am not interested. That's what it says. So that is why I gave you an example. ABC, PQR, LMQ, whatever. Keep going. But I need the individual. The government is interested in your disclosure on only the individual, not the body corporate. Till such time you identify whether it is a Lee or whether it is Anil, I am not giving you. See, company cannot be run by non-living persons, so they want to know who the living person is.
For companies like Larsen and Toubro, there is no single person, there's no, maybe it's all a bunch of public shareholders. There's no
655 you will get an answer. And that is the company which is coming on the slide also. If you can read. Thank you. Yeah. So any other question? Are we on track? So please understand, what you see, as I rightly said, is black and white, which is those two forms. I have no problems. We are discussing what I am not able to see. And what I am not able to see, I need you to see. As chartered accountants, I need you to bring it into the books of account. That is what is a mandate. Because of control and significant influence. Now, allow me to proceed. So, partnership form, very simple. So if it's held by a firm, only a partner of a firm can hold. So I got an individual, so I will name the individual and file when to. Over. My job is over. Then trust, I don't have a problem. Trustee. So I will catch out of the trustee. Trustee can only be an individual and I will put his name and disclose it to the government. Now here comes the catch. They have just concluded the fourth category with a natural person and left it at that. Now see how much of research we did, I always say thank you to CA Institute actually, for calling. Now when you call, I have to get so much deep into the subject that I dig so much deep on, I try to get a lot of these ideas. So now I'll take you through. Now the word which is missing, if you see, is body corporate, which means an Inc., an LLC, a GmbH, these are all companies, country centric. Can they escape? So I went and saw what is this body corporate. Now if you really look at it, they just say body corporate means includes a company incorporated outside India but does not include, that's all. Clear? But they have not mentioned it there. So where is it coming under natural person? So is body corporate a person? Forget about natural person. Now one more step. Now please understand, there is nothing which says that body corporate is a person. But we went and tried to interpret lot of sections and we concluded that implied meaning of a person is body corporate. Why? Because to incorporate a company you need two persons. Who are the two persons? It can be an Inc. and a LLC. So when for incorporation you are treating body corporate as person, body corporate will fall under the category of a person. So, short, no escape for even a multinational company. I don't know how far we will be successful in establishing all those, I told you, lease and the gates and all that. So, but we need to bring those names into the system. Now, so this is clear. So, body corporate I have just concluded and said yes, it's a person. Now, section 90. Now, first portion is over. I have highlighted the first portion in red, the second one in a little dark portion, which is what we are going to get into, which is called section 90 subsection 1, which gives you two types of tests. One is called the shareholding test, the second one is called the control and the significant influence test. Okay? Now, that is substantiated in 8910, so I am just moving ahead, which is what next? How are you going to crack it? Very simple. So we had four categories, right? So the four categories were company, member, partnership, trust and a natural person. I have just prepared a slide which I have given it to you how to crack, how to get that particular control thing into the picture. Now, natural person. The question to you is, are we hunting for the ghosts? Ghost in the sense, look at this, the Wikipedia meaning of a natural person means an artificial person. Okay, now there is no big example on who a natural person except for the ones which they have listed out in the rule, which is a trust, a company and all that. So where does this individual thing pop up? Look at this. So where we need to look at for this natural person is Form 2 or NGT 5, individuals who have filed the return, company, firm, body corporate. Now the last one is critical, which is any person who is holding more than 10%. So where does your work start? Your work starts when in a company you have a shareholder who holds more than 10%. Now the next question is, if in my company there are multiple people holding more than 10%, all of them I will have to disclose. If in my company there are multiple companies that are holding more than 10%, everybody. So please understand, the cutoff limit prescribed by the regulator is 10%. So your exercise starts there. Next, suppose your company does not have any company, it has only individual, then actually the buck stops with your company. There is nothing that you need to go beyond your company. But in your company, if there is an entity which is a company or a trust or a which is holding 10%, then your work starts. Simple. So this is where we start. And what are the forms? They have prescribed few forms. Don't worry, nothing is now final because it's all a big mess. So wait for something new to come up. They are revamping the forms to make it more simple. Today, nobody can even fill up these forms. That difficult it is. Ben 1, Ben 2, Ben 3, Ben 4. And I have just listed out for easy reference. This is what was the law, and I have just listed out for you what is the significance of each of this form. Okay, now we move on to the most important one there. Now we have covered the shareholding test. Now we move on to the control test. Control test comes from accounting standard 28. Significant influence comes from accounting standard 28. And there is a passing reference made in company law also. And control, now control is a dilemma, actually big one. So I would still say significant influence is a zombie, control is the ghost for CS, because zombie you can still feel it, control you cannot feel it. You will have to decipher, infer, conclude, put it in the notes tables. So where are we looking at control? Now look at this control. Control, it comes from the Companies Act 2 subsection 27. Now look at this. What all you need to see? You need to see whether there is a shareholders agreement. You need to see whether there is a joint venture agreement. You need to see whether there is any private agreements. You need to see the articles of association. You need to look at the veto rights of the promoters, what they can do, what they cannot. So there is a lot of work. So don't think that it's something very simple and it can move on. But only thing is, the moment the forms are notified, these guys are going to give us only 15 days or maximum 30 days time, by which time we'll have to crack this control part. If it is the other one, I am not bothered. The control part, you need to crack it. Okay, now SEBI says something different on control. Now let us just quickly go on to, his question was very nice. Who can control? Who can control a company?
Board shareholders.
Okay. Board can never control the company. Shareholders can control. Okay. Only one person who can control is a shareholder. So the ultimate control rests with shareholders. But L&T is an exception. I'll come to that. Okay. What will you control? What is it that you can control? So while you are doing this exercise, please understand there are only two things that can be controlled. One is returns, another is decision making. That's all can be controlled in a company. Now you need to lift the corporate wheel and check who is controlling these two factors. So the takeaway for you is control can be two. One is the return, another is the decision making. Just figure out who is controlling this, and that is what you need to put it down in the form. How can you control? Through documentation. Documentation can be in the form of agreements or articles or whatever, so we will just see what it is. Now there is a character called promoter. Now they say that control lies with the promoter. But again, who is the promoter? Please understand, the promoter may be holding only 2%. You know which company I am talking about, 2.35% to be precise. But can still be the promoter of the company, a large listed company, a large listed IT company. No, not further. Huh? No, you know which company. So, how did this person come into the system? Because he or she, if they are named in the prospectus or in the annual return, that fellow gets control. So, when you are talking about this topic on control, the black and white is a document, the grey matter is your interpretation. What you interpret, what is control. Clear? Now next is management control. Now this is where can you control the board without shareholding? Now he brought out a very nice example of this company, and I'll go to that company first. Yeah. So I said 650 and 650 are there. Huh? So L&T. Now there is no person who is controlling, right? But somebody is controlling. Who is controlling?
financial institutions, I would say.
Isn't it? Correct or not? That company who is in control, the chairman is in control. How he is in control? Any idea? Through ESOP trust. So there can be indirect ways of control which you need to go and look into the details. Are we getting it? So your work doesn't stop with only seeing some numbers. You need to go inside and check who is actually controlling you. Now this company is another interesting company, right? Which is ITC. Now here also you will not find anybody. You will not find the 10%, 8%, nothing. But there is only one person who controls the company. When I said one person, you know who that person is, right? That's it. How? Through one more. There is a trust actually available there through which they control. So understand. So you have to, as professionals, you will have to start lifting the corporate wheel. You have to go look beyond that particular person or the personality and check actually who is controlling the company. Now you'll ask me, oh my God, is the onus on me? You don't have to file the form. But if somebody has to take a cue on the significant influence and control, they will come out and say, this person reported or did not report in the annual report based on which I reported. Are you getting where the responsibility factor or accountability factor for a chartered accountant comes into the picture where they are supposed to be reporting in the, I am going to give you even a slide on how some chartered accountant has reported in the notes to accounts. Very nicely they have reported, but they are reporting. Next is, can MD, CEO appointed by majority have control? Yes. If that control is given in the articles of association clubbed by the board resolution, then that person is in control. So control is a matter where you need to take a call. It is more a logical call than a legal call. Please understand the difference between significant influence and control. I'll just go a little fast. Yeah, I have just given you examples on Paytm. That's a company where there is a single person who is actually running the show, but the control is with somebody else. Now, how that somebody else is controlling the company, you need to report. Now, there is something called Flipkart. Again, look at the shareholding pattern. The promoters are holding company, but actual control rests with the private equity guys. So, whether you will be putting it out. Now, where are you telling me that the control is coming? Look at the next one, through the documentation. Now, if I'm going to give you the clauses which are there in Flipkart and Paytm, which very clearly say, so long as X is holding so much of shares, they will have control on the company. So please, where I am coming from is, it is not some theory subject. This SBO is not a theory subject. It's a completely practical one where you need to go into that entire episode, dig in the details, bring out the facts. It's a big onerous responsibility that the regulator has cast on you. So sometimes I wonder, or you must be wondering, I'm a CA dropout, so I'm okay. So you must be wondering, should CA have had so much of publicity? No, as a profession. Because we have so much of publicity, there is so much of responsibility. Because there is so much of responsibility, there is so much of accountability. Because of accountability, your reputation is at stake. So understand, no, I am not frightening you. I am just telling you what the government has done. I mean, basically they have cast so much of responsibility on you that you need to get into details. This is what SBO is all about. Next is, of course, control through documentation. I have listed out certain things, which is management right, articles of association, shareholders, and there is something important which is called the veto rights. Veto rights means you cannot do this without asking me. I mean, in simple terms, I have just given it off, which is I forbid, which means the venture capital or the private equity will put a clause which says you cannot do without asking me. That means control is not there with the managing director or with the CEO who is holding 28% of shares. Even with 15%, a private equity can control a company. So the control is with the company. Clauses. I have just listed out one or two clauses for your sake. Look at this, so beautiful. It's all in the public domain, so it's not that I've pulled out something from private. So long as the private equity holds 5% of the issued and paid up capital, which means control. look for these clauses in the Articles of Association. If it is not in the Articles of Association, look for these in the Shareholders Agreement. Please look for these clauses. That is where control is all about. Next is, I have just listed out this also, which is, you can, yeah. No, both are same. It will always be the same. No, that is what the law. Yeah, that is what somebody has drafted, which I had copied and pasted there. So that's not the right drafting, it's a paid up capital. Right? It's always the paid up capital which gives you control, not otherwise. Clear? So that is just copied pasted. So somebody has drafted it, so I've just given you the clause.
Sir, if you're going to cover this, but what about convertible, compulsory convertible preferred shares or debentures, which also eventually will get converted to equity? But when you talk about these percentages, is it the fully diluted?
Lovely. Don't worry. This form is a real-time form. When I say real-time form, it means as on the date, what the chartered accountant is seeing is what is reported. Don't worry about future dilution. This is, Subex, the same thing happened, right? The FCB got converted and the promoter shareholder lost complete control. It became almost zero, right? So that was a future event. So it's a contingent liability source which may or may not arise at a future date. If Subhash Menon had honored the FCB, that would not have got converted. He would not have lost control. So for you, today when I am reporting, who is in control? That's all.
No, I think many agreements are drafted in such a way that they say I am investing in a CCD, which is a convertible debenture,
Correct.
but I'll have the rights of an equity shareholder. So I'll be invited to general meetings, I'll be, asked for voting, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So which means, they are essentially not an equity shareholder, but still having, the rights to it. Now, not all of them might be in the articles entered. There might be agreements which are probably not there in the articles also.
Now you have gone to the legal, from logical you have gone into the legal stuff, which is any agreement, any clause which is not there in the Articles of Association is a piece of crap. Yeah. You can just read it. Okay, man. You can fight. There are, Rolda case is a classic case which says the shareholders agreement clauses has to be available in the Articles of Association, failing which shareholders agreement doesn't hold good. Yeah, it may be on a stamp paper, you can still take somebody on a court, so forget that. Why I am insisting so much on AOA is, it has to be in the AOA, that's it. If it is not, don't worry. There may be side agreement, whatever, they call so many, they give so many meaning to all this, don't worry about all this. That's all private documents. If they have shown you the document, report. Otherwise you trust only the AOA, that's it.
That might be the rule in India, but now we're talking about many other countries, right? So the shareholder agreement might have been entered in the parent company in some other country. So now we need to know the laws of that country to see whether it mandates the enrichment of the articles when there is a shareholder agreement and that kind of thing.
No, good question. I have not researched. No, it's a fantastic question. Which is, okay, I thought my limitation was to the India stuff. Now your question, you are taking it to the next level, which is body corporate has another body corporate, has another body corporate. Now what if that body corporate has entered into some other contracts and all that? As a professional, where does the buck stop?
Right.
Yeah, I'll get back to you, but I don't have an immediate answer. To the best of my knowledge, you need to be probing only. That's a brilliant question. Where does the buck stop? I also don't know. So that's what I said. So it's a Vastraharan. So it goes on and on till you find that individual. Now, your thing is, where does it stop? If you can give me your mail address, maybe after 2 days I'll just send across an answer for you if I can research something.
Sure.
But as of now, no answers. Got the question, right? So his issue is, okay, for Indian companies you are talking all about AOA and all that. Now if I get into China, if that company is in China has a company in Ireland has, so the chain, where does the chain stop? It doesn't stop. So what do I do with another country? Where do I check for these documents? How do I probe and where does the buck stop? Okay, point taken. Yeah, so that's still an open-ended issue. Let us resolve it at a later date, but yeah, it is there. Okay. What is a document that I need to see if it's a foreign country? Okay. Now, let's just quickly see what the significant influence is. Okay, all this while I spoke on control. Now we move to significant influence. Now I told you significant influence is still a zombie. Zombie is something which you can still see. When I said you can still see, the CA Institute has brought out beautifully the provision which says 20%. That has got the support in Companies Act 2013 in the form of associate company. If you really see section 2 subsection 6, which deals the associate company, and that is where significant influence comes, and they have given a meaning to the significant influence which says means control of at least 20% of total share capital or of business decision under an agreement. Now here what has happened? 50% is real, 50% is again ghost. Ghost is business decision. I told you only two things get controlled. One is the returns, another is the decisions. Now this is where you are caught. Again, this becomes a logic for you. You need to check whether somebody is taking a call on the business decision. Now please don't confuse this for holding company. It has got nothing to do those definitions of control, composition of board and all that. No, significant influence is something which completely emerges from a CA domain, which is from the accounting standard perspective. And to give you an example, this is the example. Recent latest balance sheet, we found that one of the companies has reported something like this, which is in the notes to accounts. They have said under related party transaction, there is a mention of entities in which directors are having significant influence. Clear? So now the game starts. What is the game? ABC has reported this, that they have interest in XYZ. Now I go to XYZ. From XYZ I go to PQR. Now the buck stops till such time I have been successful in hunting down the individual who is holding 10%. Now the question that you may ask is, at some point of time this chain breaks and the individual holds 9.9%. Does my game stop? Yes. Are you getting it? So, body corporate to body corporate to body corporate individual. And then that individual suddenly you find is holding only 9.8%. Do I stop my game? Stop. Beyond that, I don't have the bandwidth, right? So what the law says, ultimate beneficial owner is a person. Now that is what I am concluding by this particular session, which is, okay, what to look for, I have told you. Register of members, NGT4, shareholding agreement, voting agreement, memorandum and articles of association is the document that you need to look for. Now, to conclude this session on SBO rules, it is who is the ultimate beneficial owner. So the conclusion, what I have tried to draw up is, SBO is an individual holding ultimate beneficial interest of not less than 10% and whose name is not entered in the register of members. So please understand, this whole game starts with non-natural persons or persons who are not natural persons holding 10%, and the game ends when you detect the natural person who is an individual who holds 10%. So this is how the whole chain comes up as far as the SBO rules are concerned. Any questions? Yeah, or you can write to me, not a problem. I'll just go on to the next topic for the day, which is very important, which is on the amendment. Now before that, let me also tell you why this can fail, these rules can fail. A zillion reasons why it can fail. Okay, I mean, this is my bias, because when I started doing this and with so many multinational companies that we have, I am hitting roadblock. It is not becoming easy, please. I mean, someone says that no, we will not give you this detail. No, Mauritius doesn't allow me to give you the internal details of who that company is holding. No, where do I go? Whom do I cry? Okay, I can scream to an extent saying that, hey, India is my country, India is also very important. I need this information because my government is asking. But if somebody from the other side of the country is going to scream at the same or a little more louder, then where do I land? First problem, which is privacy and data protection issues, the individual, the country, even individual. Say for example, you take one company, Samsung. You know, there was one case also, one Muzaffarpur, somebody said Samsung chairman has to be summoned to the country. for a small problem in his TV. He wanted the chairman of the Samsung group be here. Now, if all my, say, Samsung related companies are going to point it to, say, that person he or whatever, now tell me, is that person going to give me the information, what he is holding, how much he is holding? First problem. Second problem, there are so many takeovers happening today, left, right, center in multinational companies itself. What if there is a change in ownership? Where am I going to track the owner? There are a lot of practical problems which can come up. Then types of investors. Now this is another beautiful thing which I have encountered, which is crowdfunding. Where do I go for individual? Are you getting it? Now there is a company which has invested, which is crowdfunding, which means 100 people have put 1 lakh rupees in the company. So typically what will happen, each of these fellows will be holding 5%. So looks like your journey stops with that, or the search stops there. Crowdfunding. Then there is angel investors. Now there are a lot of these people whose names are going to get published. So are they going to come and, because nobody wants today for people to know where they have invested, how much they have invested. So actually you are getting into the private domain of individuals checking out where all they are investing. Next, politician. This is another lovely case which happened. Okay, this is a public news. Vasan eye care. Suddenly there was a raid and they found that it was the binami of politician. It can come up. Now next is can a shareholder, this is what is the example I gave you, a 2.6% shareholder removing the CEO. So is that significant influence or not? Yes. So where is the question of having 10% or 20% to exercise significant influence? Here we are talking about an individual holding 2.3, together this group was holding 13.2%. That's all. And then you know what happened, rest is history, right? So understand, so significant doesn't mean you need to have 20%. Next is data collection. Now, how much of data do you need and where are you going to keep and how much of it is going to be confidential? Right? First protection that I need is, like after 4 years, I was, right from the first session that I have been sharing with you, I have been screaming that NGT 14 should not be public. When old form was not public for many things, now after 4 years when they made everything public, now they are come out saying that this document cannot be public. Certain things, when it's inspection. So will you give me protection for When 3? When I upload? It should not be allowed for access, no? I mean, it's all over, right? Game over. Which means I pay 100 rupees and I can just extract who your ultimate significant owner is. So first request which I have made is, please ensure that this form is not for public viewing. Then you will protect. Otherwise, the moment I find, people will download in the next 5 seconds. That's it. It's all over. Careful. Okay, now we move to this lovely thing which is called Amendment Act. Of course, this is a little old now. There is nothing great, but of course our branch I don't think has done something in the last 1 year on this. So what I am going to give you is something like a heads up. It's not getting into too much of details and all that. So I have slides where it's very important, and I have called this session as ABCD. No, very simple. It's called Anybody Can Decipher. Okay, it's very simple. And I have also categorized it as ABCD, which is, I have said A for amendment, I have categorized it for amendments. B, business friendly stuff. C, corrective action which has come up. And D is deletions. So I have split this entire Amendment Act into 4 modules, which is amendment, which is business friendly, which is the ease of doing business factor. C is corrections and D is deletions. Clear? So this is what I have just tried to do it. And let me start with the basic, of course, the capital. We all know there was capital, no capital, no minimum capital, all that got structured. Common seal has become optional now. And then there was a lovely thing which is June 5th. This is one of the best notifications that has come by far, which relaxed everything for this country. I mean, otherwise it would have been so tough. 2 years we really struggled. This notification came and cleared most of it, which is, again, these are all part of your handout, so don't worry about it. The sections which got relaxed on June 15th, on June 2015 is this. Then we had February 1st, 2016 when this particular Amendment Act was introduced, and then we had notifications on following days. Of course, as of last August, September also there was a notification. So most of it is notified. There is nothing which is open-ended. Now, what is it in store? There are 4 things which I will come to, which is amendment. Now, minimum number of members. Now, this was a lovely one which was there in 1956. Now, being somebody who is taught 1956 Act for 20 years, I always felt there was no need to actually bring 2013. To be very honest, what am I doing? I am slowly bringing everything which was missed in 1956 back to 2013. This one was very clear. When your total number of members drops below the statutory minimum, there was no mention in 2013. Whereas in the old Act, it was the liability becomes unlimited. Now they have brought the same concept out here, which has got introduced in the form of an amendment. Next is, of course, there is a lot of amendments to this qualification of directors related stuff, where they brought in this DIR 3 and the spice rule. One important takeaway. Till 3 months back, if I am right, I used to tell people, get a DIN done for you. DIN is Director Identification Number. So people used to ask why. I said no, sometimes there may be problems in DIN. So people used to ask what type of problems. Now simple. My name is Sundharesan Jayamurthy. My PAN card says Jayamurthy Sundharesan. Of course, those days I never knew how to apply for a PAN because there is no income actually. But today you can apply for a DIN with little restrictions, which is your PAN and your DIN should match. So when I did my KYC, I had only 2 options. To change my father or to change my PAN card. I did not want to change my PAN card. So of course we did something and then we got it through. Okay, how? Don't ask. Now I will give you another example which happened just 4 days back. We struggled. Okay, there is a character called P.A. Shankara. Father's name A.P. Shankara. Is there any difference? Now his PAN card shows that his DIN gives an elaborate detail of who the first name is, second name is, last name is. His PAN card doesn't say anything except the initial of his father and initial of this character. Trust me, it was a hell to get that DIR KYC done. So, what my suggestion was, please don't struggle at a later date, so apply. Now can you do it? No. Now the law, what they say is, if you want a DIN, either incorporate your own company and apply for a DIN, or your name has to be proposed by a company, which is the in principle approval, and then you can apply a DIN. These are all little difficult terms which we are actually getting into, but good. At least this will get a filtration of lot of these people applying for DIN and keeping. Now you know this Kelawala tragedy which happened in Delhi, no? I mean, which is all the people who gave to the bank Aadhaar card, the bank converted them into directors. Only with Aadhaar card. This happened about 2 years in this country. It was the biggest bank scam ever. Right? And when the CBI came after, these fellows were selling bananas. Who? The directors of the companies where the scam happened. This was DIN. Today, it cannot happen. So, lot of good things. I am not saying something is bad, good. Yeah, this is good for the system. But it is tough for the individual. Next is application allotment. There is a crazy thing. They have just mentioned other number. See, that is what, when you draft, there cannot be any lacuna, there cannot be any ambiguity. Now, what is other number? Not Aadhaar number. Other number. Nobody knows. Now, even Aadhaar has become insignificant post the Supreme Court judgment. So there are multiple numbers that we have and multiple identity proofs that we have. So this is still a question. Next is disclosure. Now look at this, my lord. How can they complicate, man? I mean, law should be simple, right? Now look at this. What is the implication of this particular provision? In the board's report, MGT 9 has to be given. This was the previous law. Now, 134 got amended and they said, If the company has a website, we are trying to show that we are also part of technology and all that, and stupid amendments are happening. Now my question to you friends is, if the company does not have a website, they should give both options, right? If the company has a website, if the company does not have a website, there is no provision. So what will you do? If the company has a website, you need to upload NGT9 on the website. Clear? What if the company does not have a website? Anybody? Don't give. I mean, you need not give it anywhere, right? So, mention it in the board's report saying that the company does not have a website. You can add some masala saying that our intention is to help the regulator putting it up on a website, but we don't have a website. Right? So, what my takeaway, simple takeaway is, if you don't have a website, attach the NGT9 to the board's report. That's all. Any extra information is good information. Whereas, this is a simple thing, right? Non-compliance, just compliance, over-compliance. So, don't be on the non-compliance front, be on the just compliance front where you give off the data. But be careful. Why I am telling you this is, 134 has got notified, 92 has not got notified. 92 is what talks about annual return, 134 is what talks about board's report. How can you have a disconnect between the two sections where the cross-reference is there in 134? But that is what is today's law, don't worry about it. Okay, so this is what is the solution I have just given, which is if you don't have a website, the simple way of doing it is just attach that NGT9 if possible to the board's report and leave it at that. Or mention that you don't have a website and hence you have not uploaded the same in the website. Next. Now, after this, general meeting. Now, this is another lovely one. Actually, extraordinary general meeting for a multinational company can be held anywhere in the world. Fair enough. Because the shareholders of these entities are there whichever part. But the surprising part is annual general meeting has to be done in India. Now, why? I don't know. I mean, that is so if you have relaxed it for EGM, you could have relaxed it for AGM also. Okay, so both the general meeting and this, but as of now looks like it's only the EGM that you get. Annual general meeting, what it says is, annual general meeting of an unlisted company may be held at any place in India if consent is given in writing or by electronic mode by all members in advance. When it says all members, it means 100% of the members should consent, which is next to only for a closely held company it's possible. And for the general meeting it says extraordinary general meeting other than the wholly owned subsidiary, please understand, of a company incorporated outside India shall be held at a place within India. That means only for a non-wholly owned subsidiary or which is not, you have to hold it in India. That is the amendment. This is another good one, video conferencing. Now, on the video conferencing front, of course, there are a lot of crazy things happening. I mean, you know better than I know, which is, there has to be, it is like old Videocon PIP TV, picture in picture. So you are supposed to have video on both sides. Okay, now the typical, if I can call it the jugaad, which is happening is, there is a video on one side and there is a video camera on the other side. Are you getting it? So there is a big screen and then there is people appearing on the screen. We are able to see them but they are not able to see us. But there is a third person holding the camera inside the boardroom and recording the whole episode. They say this is also video conferencing. Please be careful, this is not a video conferencing. Video conferencing is both the parties are supposed to hear and speak the same language. Now the bigger problem today is quorum. What is a quorum related problem? Quorum related problem is if a person participates in the video conferencing, is he counted for the purpose of quorum? Now please understand, whenever you want to give a quorum, that particular meeting is called a video conferencing meeting only. And the rules for a video conferencing meeting is completely different from a physical board meeting. This you should understand. Please don't do it for the sake of it. And most important is, they have given some relaxation on the, the accounts related stuff. Now accounts related stuff you can actually participate on the video conference is what they have said, but for that particular item you can participate but you will not be counted, which means you should have a physical quorum plus a external person appearing through the video conference. So there are too many complications relating to this video conference. Please be careful when you use it. It's not all that easy. They have not synchronized 173 along with the rules relating to video conferencing. This is my takeaway on the video conferencing. Now, what it says is, when there is a quorum in a meeting through physical presence of directors, any other director may participate through video conferencing in such meeting or any other through the first proviso, which means, I just explained to you the provisions where you can participate, how you can participate, but please remember, if a person participates on video conferencing, it is deemed to be a video conferencing meeting and it cannot be a physical meeting. Next, of course, is the right to have a copy of audited financial statements. This was also one of the things. You can go to one of my old videos when it came. There was a challenge between CFOs and me saying that no, you can't give now. This was old section 219, where it was very clear that you could not circulate a financial statement at a lesser period, which is less than 21 clear days. It was there here also. Only after 5 years they have relaxed this option. Now you can call for the annual general meeting at a shorter notice. You can also circulate the financials at short notice. Understand? After 5 years this has come into the picture. Next is filing fees. Now this again is another lovely one which has come more so on the relaxation of section 403. 403, everything was compoundable, which means the 6 sections which was listed there was all compoundable, which means if you cross the deadline of 270 plus 30 days, then you had to, which is the classic case of LGT 6, which is the beneficial ownership and all that. Now it's all gone. They have just relaxed it, they have made it with a penal provision. So these are all good things which has happened, actually lot of relaxation, but after a little longer time. Now next is of course business friendly. Now when I say business friendly, it's very simple. Things which has become more easy, but I just did something yesterday and it has come for resubmission. Now understand what this is. Declaration has replaced affidavit. Affidavit should be on a stamp paper. Declaration need not be on a stamp paper. Point number 2. If the affidavit is signed by a foreign director, then we generally used to go in for apostling and notarization. Then one particular forum, I don't want to say, one of those regulators said, if it is declaration, you don't have to get the apostling and notarizing done. It can be just signed and given. But today we got a resubmission which says, even a declaration which is signed by a foreign director will have to go through the process of apostling and notarizing. So any signature which is coming from a foreign country has to be notarized and apostilled. You cannot escape that provision, even though it looks to be easy. It's only for under an Indian context, not from a global context. Then of course 185 has got relaxed, you can give loans, and 82 of course satisfaction of charge. Now earlier there was compounding problem, now the compounding problem has gone, which is you cross the 30 days also, you can go ahead and file satisfaction of charges. Then manager remuneration, this is one of the most brilliant moves, which is the last application which required the approval of the central government also is gone. Which means now you are good to go as far as anything is concerned. It lies with only the shareholders and not with the central government. So that much of relaxation has come in. Okay. Next is of course the private placement. They have brought in some additional relaxations and all that on the private placement. Then that is share application money, using of share application money, and then following the procedure. Here I want to give you one more takeaway. Now what used to happen in this 42 and 62, that is 62 has 3 parts, 62 1A, 62 1B, 62 1C. 42 was relating to preferential allotment. Now Lot of firms, what they used to do is, they used to use the rights issue, which is 62(1)(a). Rights issue is for the existing shareholders. But the misuse which was happening there is, the existing shareholders renounced their right and a new character came into the picture, which is an outside shareholder came into the picture. Because of the renunciation, these renounced shares were given to the new person. Last 1 month I have got at least 10-12 calls saying that Reserve Bank of India has started rejecting all these issues. Now the implication from a professional standpoint, please understand, the entire money that you have got from a foreign shareholder, you will have to cancel the allotment and you will have to refund the money back to the country where it came from. Please note, this is something which has come in very recently. Please don't do this for a foreign shareholder, at least where the Reserve Bank is involved. The moment Reserve Bank rejects that FCGPR, the impact is the ROC has started rejecting from PAS 3. Understood? The letter of offer gets rejected, your allotment thing gets rejected, the entire issue becomes null and void. So, please don't use 62(1)(a) to substitute section 42. Why people used to use 62 is, the money which came in can be used immediately, whereas there was a lot of restrictions on 42. So people try to play with that money. Today there is a problem which has come in from a different regulator. It's not from MCA or from the corporate affairs. It's from Reserve Bank of India. This is just a add-on which I wanted to give because I got a lot of calls saying what to do. You don't have a choice. If they reject, it's all over. Understand? Resubmission is different from rejection. Rejection is gone out. Resubmission, you have an opportunity to be heard.
One question there. So this was with example of the investor being a foreign investor.
Yeah.
But if it is all domestic, like can I still renounce the shares in favor of a domestic investor and then?
Technically speaking, no. But nobody notices. It's been going on. Last 5 years it's been going on. So nobody has questioned until RBI came out.
But no, ROC is...
yeah, he will start scrutinizing. So that means an outside shareholder getting into the company through the guise of a rights issue may become a problem.
So the workaround would be just give him 1 or 2 shares, make him a shareholder.
Exactly.
And then
transfer 1 share. Rest is... but people never used to take it seriously, no? So it can only go to a member. Right? So the entire bunch of these existing shareholders rejected, renounce it, and it goes to the other shareholder. That is okay, no? How much they hold and all is not... but again, one more, something which is going around in WhatsApp recently is how much of powers do ROC have to ask for data which is completely private. For example, I believe what is going in the rounds is they have asked for all the financial data, all the data relating to their sales and data relating to how it is being done. Now, do they have the powers? I don't know, but they can ask, right? They can ask for anything and everything. So in this case, 2 things are happening. Now that he has raised a point, valuation related issue, they are raising it up. Now, it is all luck. Huh? If you have luck, the form goes through. If you don't have luck, they start questioning you on the valuation part. Number 2, they start questioning you on the shareholder part. Shareholder part, how? Now, I believe some of the regulators are coming and saying, how can you offer disproportionate share to the other shareholder?
Yeah, we don't offer disproportionate, we offer it in proportionate. It's just that the shareholders who don't want to subscribe just remain quiet. And then
one shareholder completely takes over the whatever is the balance shares left.
They'll apply for the rights and they'll apply for something.
Yeah. But whether it can be questioned, yes. All this, please understand, there is scope for questioning. But again, as I told you, if you have the better day with you, it just goes through. Nobody even looks at it. Clear? So that is on the 42. Yeah.
Sir, on the RBI, whoever is questioning or they're rejecting the form, they have earlier in the past actually approved also. So
yeah, that is what somebody who called me. said that the same company, I did a thing 1 year back and they approved. Now how can they reject?
So, we are just still trying to justify, but it's not.
It cannot go through. Yeah. See, they have so much of powers.
And your pass 3 is straight through approval. So
But not pass 3, the other one, pass 4 and this one, the letter of offer which you file, no? Yeah, that gets stopped. That they can ask any question. But ROC has a power to pull forms and then keep questioning you, right? So, the moment he gets to know, and these fellows are now intimating ROC, who are they? So, a lot of these regulators are playing hand in glove. Now, if you slowly look at it, next 2 years, what I feel is income tax, ROC, RBI, everybody will start working in sync. So, it is not like you can do something without the knowledge of the other fellow. No, it will not happen. This 2 years, and I think things will change.
But in a rights issue, we don't file pass 4 and pass 5. Only we file only pass 3.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying the letter of offer,
it is not an e-form.
rights
It's
issue.
an attachment.
No, you file GNRQ if I'm right.
No, letter of offer also is not required. We just do the allotment.
Yeah,
Yeah?
only pass 3.
Yeah, okay. So pass 3 was rejected or something like that. You know, that is what it said. So pass 3 got rejected and RBI also rejected the FCGB. So that's what happened and it can be stopped. So there are chances. So, and if you have stopped it, you have stopped it. That's it. You cannot redo that. Understood? So when you asked me the solution was very simple. You have to return the money, bring the money back, and then adopt this route
When
of.
the money is used, so go for compounding.
Oh no, that's a bigger problem.
Yeah.
Then you have to go tell RBI and all those things. Lot of things you have. Yeah, you'll have to do company. Yeah.
So going ahead, we should avoid rights issue if it's outside shareholder.
No. As she says, see, 1 year back nobody saw. Today somebody is seeing. So you play it safe. Don't do that for a foreign shareholder. No, he said Indian shareholder.
Yeah.
Nobody sees. It just goes through. But best thing is to do something like that. Get one share and then into the system and do something.
And what's happened in past and if everything is approved, you can just...
Yeah, and one more small hitch in this transfer to the non-resident is I'll have to still go through that FC TRS route, it will take time and things are like that. So a lot of people are not wanting to wait. So now 62(1)(a) cannot be misused for 42. That's become very clear, it's a full stop. And more so for the foreign share. Then of course name reservation, yeah, all these are just small little things that has undergone some change. Yeah, corrections. Now there are a lot of things which needed correction, which is the, one is of course the ratification auditor. I mean it was a torture for the last 4 years, trust me, every year to put it in the notice and then do all that. Now they have restored the 1956 provisions to be very clear.
I
And
have
then,
a question on that.
yeah.
So it's always been there in my mind. So now since ratification is gone, now if somebody is appointed for 5 years, if a particular, let's say as a shareholder, I don't want to continue with a particular auditor. Now they at least had an option, like say at the AGM they couldn't ratify it. Now is there the only option is that they go for removal route, or the auditor has to resign. But if you're not willing to resign, then removal route is the only option.
I always tell two people,
Yeah.
preferably do the Munna by type, the director and the auditor. Hug is the best solution to both the problems. Fight, it will not take you anywhere because it will go on and on. And he can also retaliate and things will go. So, best is resignation,
Correct.
patch up, close.
But if he's not willing to, no matter.
Then there is no other choice.
No,
Then removal is the only choice.
Central government.
Yeah.
Sir, another practical issue for an auditor change, an auditor who we change in the AGM, there is no option to file for his resignation unless we have a resignation letter.
Yeah.
In the sense, ADT.
881, right? 83. 3, yeah.
So we still have to get a resignation letter even though in the AGM another auditor gets appointed.
Yeah, but again that onus is on the auditor only.
To file the ADT.
Yeah, it is not on the company or anything. It's only with the CA firm.
But if we have the resignation,
Yeah.
we can go ahead with it.
Correct.
But typically when they get appointed, another auditor gets appointed in the AGM, the other auditor,
Yes,
the
sir.
shareholders are not approved, that's all. So they have appointed a new auditor.
Yeah, no. You said the auditor is already appointed, no, in the
Um,
AGM.
So what I'm saying is, it's casual vacancy also.
Yeah.
That's-
So no, once the new auditor gets appointed and the ADT one is done, then the previous previous one is up to the onus is on the, it's an individual problem. It is nothing to do with the company related problem. It's a form.
If I'm not wrong, when we file ADT1 for casual vacancy, we have to give SRN of ADT3.
For casual vacancy, yeah, correct.
So if he's not filed it, technically we cannot file ADT1.
Yeah, correct. It will go on and on for,
Yeah.
That is it. Yeah, it is interlinked.
Yeah.
Correct.
I think you can give ACE double line.
No, but I don't
No,
think that's
that used to be a solution in good old days for a lot of these forms where we never knew what to do actually.
Yeah.
But now they track the SR. It's not easy to fill those dummy numbers and then get out of the system. It's not possible. Then, of course, this is another new one, which is Chief Executive Officer. If you have one, then that person has to sign the financials. Now, again, the confusion is whether this person is a KMP, whether you need to have filed a form, whether he is only a CEO. There is no question of all that. Understand, a CFO is completely different from a CEO. When you put both these guys under a board resolution, then they are KMPs. If these two characters don't come under a board resolution, then they are not KMPs. Simple interpretation of whether they are KMP or not. Because a lot of times this issue comes asking whether designation matters. If I am designated this to a company, no. It's board resolution. Only then you get the authorization and the authority. Then this is significant, that is what I said, there is an amendment, and 135 again, any financial year, immediately preceding financial year has come in, and now there are a lot of relaxation on CSR also, only 2 directors are enough, those complication of private company having to have 3 directors and all is gone, so a lot of relaxations are happening, but again, last year if I am right, ROC took up this job of sending notices for CSR compliance, non-compliance and all that. Here again I would like to reiterate, please understand, it's a comply or explain. So comply or explain means very simple. If the applicability is there, constitute the CSR committee and leave it at that. That means you have complied. Now the spending is the second one. The applicability of spending, again I think ICA has got out a lovely guidance note on CSR stuff, which is a carry forward and all that, which you can go through, which is very clear. If I have not spent it this year, then I have to spend it next year, and then the chartered accountant has to mention it somewhere in the report. That's all. The requirement is that. So when ROC asks whether you have spent or not, now please understand they are looking at 2 things. Have you constituted the committee and have you reported in the board's report? That's it. Now if the reporting is done, good enough. I don't know if the next level is going to happen, which is, why did you not spend? They have still not come to that stage. That stage is not far off, where somebody is going to ask you, 2% was the allocation, why did you not spend? Fortunately, there is no prosecution for that, but there can be the next show cause notice which can ask why you have not spent the CSR. Again, this is not a big one, so I am not focusing. Rationalization, penal provisions, they have all brought it under one umbrella, and of course, associate company has got into more details. KMP definition has got some improvement there. So such other officer, not more than 1 level below the whole time, they are just trying to clarify who that. Again, please understand, this is the same section 5 of 1956. They had left out clause 5 subclause F, if I am right, which has got replaced here, and they have very clearly said who the KMP is. There it was officer in default, here it is KMP, that's all. Okay, then declaration of dividend, and then CSR I have just covered. Okay, this is a very important one. I just wanted to focus. Now understand, there is a small change which has happened in these definitions. Nobody has really taken it up very seriously, but looks like there is a catch. What is the catch? 1956 we had section 4 subsection 7. What was that? Which was a multinational company which has got 2 shareholders. If they are both body corporate, then they will not become a public company. That is, the definition of public company is very simple, which is, if your company which holds shares in your company is a listed company anywhere abroad, then your company becomes a public company, which is the deemed public company concept. Now that was not there in 2013, but quietly this holding company has got changed to to include the word body corporate. Now when they have included the word body corporate, if you go back to the provisions of public company, I am able to try and connect, and that is where I am a little skeptical, but nobody has come out with this. I am just raising this as an issue and leaving it at that, which is, if that is true, which is public company definition, connects the body corporate, brings it to the holding company, and holding company now has this word called body corporate, subsidiary company has got this word called body corporate. The next thing which I am asking is, will it have an impact on the multinational company? Will these companies become a deemed public, which means all the provisions pertaining to public company, will it become applicable to some of these companies which are there in India, which is 80% of the MNCs will get covered in that. I mean, that is my wild guess, but no answers on this, but this is just a takeaway for you. Just think, I don't know when it is going to hit us, or if somebody is going to come and seriously look at these provisions. Intent is not that, but the amendment has already come into that effect, amending the holding company definition. Okay, deletions. Now this is fairly simple. Deletions are, ratification is one thing which got deleted completely, now which we discussed. Then we have disclosures under the board's report, which is for a 1% company, they have given a lot of relaxation and it has changed. Then disclosure to the registrar, there was one useless provision, I think MGT 15 or something like that, where you needed to inform about the resolutions and all that. It is gone. Now, next is, and I think this is advanced provisions which you have to intimate to the ROC, that is gone, deletion. Disclosures in prospectus, they have relaxed a lot of things relating to provisions which were, lot of the SEBI related provisions which are there in Companies Act has got deleted, in short. I mean, for you to understand, which is what is following, which is 194, insider trading is gone. Then there is something called 195, which was again dealing with SEBI related provisions. All this is omitted, which is all deleted. So omissions, there are further omissions on definitions also, interestingly, there is something on deposit insurance which has also got insurance, which was covered under 73(2). And most important, what is yet to be notified. Now, there are only two sections which are yet to be notified. One is the annual return, which is on the web disclosures. When I am talking about the web disclosures, which is, I have said 134, which was connected to 92. Now, what has happened is 134 has got notified, 92 has not got notified. So this is what is the difference between these two sections, and of course one on subsidy. Now I will also give you a brief overview on what is going to come in. One is, in the next month I think we will get these rules completely modified, which is BEN 3 provisions and BEN 2 provisions, which is going to come up in the next 1 month. The second thing which is going to come up is the corporate KYC. Now, what are these guys going to ask for, or where they are going to look for? I will tell you, going by what I have made some researches. Satyam had 115 companies in a single room in Hyderabad. I mean, this is where they are coming from. I mean, you should understand why. In fact, that din and all that came because of one of the incidents of Gadkari, right? Nitin Gadkari's driver was a director in one of the jewellery companies, all those things. And to top it, this Bira Modi companies had his private people as a directors. So KYC is something which is coming up, which is you have to establish your place of business, which means can it be the home of a director? I don't know, question mark. Now all this will come up. Now, are they going to link it with the shop and establishment registration? Or if you look at a typical Karnataka scenario, you need to have a BBMP registration. So there are a lot of these trade bodies thing which will get connected. Please be aware. Now, if you see already professional tax, going by the GST returns that you are filing are coming and asking you to register. So this lot of these connect which are happening. So look for KYC which is coming up. So KYC, BEN 3. The third most important one which is going to come and stare at us is called the penalty, the decriminalization which they are working. It's a paper which is going on, which is very, very critical, which is all the provisions of company law which had the clause fine and imprisonment First thing is what they are looking at, how to dilute fine and imprisonment. I think two things which they will not relax in your lifetime are going to be the fixed deposit related issues and prospectus related issues. So don't expect any relaxation in those provisions. But as I have been telling last 4 years on 185 subsection 13, which is so cruel on somebody, on a loan related thing to get imprisonment, is what is going to get relaxed. So things like that are going to happen. Next is, most of the provisions, please understand, we are going the American way. What is American way? Punishing you the US way. What is it? Very simple, right? US allows you to do all the violations. Visa violation, no, please go ahead. You know what you do? You go and pay 30 million. You go and pay 50 million to patch up the violations. Simple thing was Volkswagen. US would have earned something like $2 billion on that. India is also going towards that. So what does that mean? Very simple. Your violations or non-compliance is going to be monetized. What is the meaning of monetized? Very simple. I will allow you to do a mistake. Now that is when I told you, when I started my session, ROC will call you. They will be empowered, executive will be empowered. Please understand? So call, sit. Your total penalty comes to 30 lakhs. Tell me what you will pay. That's it. The demand will be 30 lakhs, not off the record, and say officially what will you pay. That's it. So imagine the revenue model, it's going to go so high. Second one, with all this 100 rupees default, I don't know if you have realized that, an LLP which was never used by one of my known persons who wanted to dissolve or liquidate, after 2 years paid a penalty of 1,32,000 for not using the LLP. Forget using the LLP and paying a penalty, which means they had to regularize the LLP by filing the records by paying 100 rupees per day of default, which came to 1,32,000. So understand, this is the next thing which is coming up. So my advice to you is very simple. If somebody comes and asks you which is the best form of doing business, please upfront say sole proprietor is the best form. Okay, you and I may, okay, you will still have business, I will not have business, so wait, but end of the day, try to think of it. You don't want to take outside money. Why would you want a company? Why would you want an LLP? My friend tells me, my lawyer friend tells me, in the last 3 months he has advised people and 42 partnership deeds has been executed. I am talking about partnership deed. Your next level of advice should be partnership. Till the divorce happens. Okay, that is also there. So all the fight happens. So sole proprietor, partnership. Stop with it. I think if all of us want to live happily ever after, whether it is you or me, not running after these UFOs and SBOs and UBOs and all that, I think the safe form of doing is the traditional form of doing business, which is a sole proprietor followed by a partnership. I think all of us will live happily ever after is what I feel, looking at the complications that these acts are going to give us. Very simple. So these are my takeaways for you, which is going to come up in the next 3 months. So with that, if you don't have any questions, then thank you all for patient listening, and you can always write a mail, and I will surely, if you can drop a mail, you asked a question, and I will give a reply. So, any questions? No. Thank you. Thank you.
What happens if this beneficial ownership if you don't provide the data, and what are the non-compliance issues that may come up? Like what penalties or what fines they have?
They have not prescribed anything, if I am right, as of now. There are a lot of these sections which does not have any penalty provision as of now. But later on when you go and tap the market for money, that is where you will get caught. That is where I see, the FDA reporting and all these things coming up. And
so they will link it.
Very much. All these forms will get claimed.
So not only do we have to find who the ultimate beneficial owner is, but we also have to make them file either one of them, when one or when two, they have to file. Right now, if there is layering and we finally figure out who it is, how do we make him file that when one or when two?
No, that is what. Once you identify the individual, you will have to take these forms from the individuals and then see when one is given by the person who is holding and when two is to be given by the beneficial owner who is sitting wherever, whichever part of the world. Club together, you will have to file it in the with Ben 3 if I am right. So that is how it happens.
So then the fee we charge to a client has to be a simple company's owner.
Don't quote the fee in the beginning. Tell them after the work I will let you know. Because the moment you start your work, as he said, it may not end with your second entity or third entity. It can be even the 10th entity. So how many people KYC are you going to do? So you need to keep moving up the ladder to get the last person. So don't commit anything. You have to really look at the quantum of work which is going to be involved and you have to take it.
Sir, and on the corporate KYC, so we have now lent our office to a few of our clients. So are there going to be any...
See, so long as you have a real office, so long as you can provide those data which they are going to ask for corporate KYC, I don't think anything will go wrong. Where things can go wrong are directors lending their house for a registered office. Things may go wrong there. Or a particular group having multiple offices in a particular address. Those are the things which will get probed further. First is they will ask for data. Then based on the data analysis will happen and then they will start probing. That's what I feel will happen. So for genuine people, I don't think there's any issues. It will go.
So one more question.
Yeah.
So let's take after these compliances have come in, some clients they don't do it, but they are supposed to do it. As an auditor, what do I have any reporting responsibilities that for non-compliance of these Ben rules?
See, non-compliance, I would say when in doubt report. Not only for companies, for a CA. It's actually applicable to CA, not even for the company.
Correct. Yeah.
So when in doubt report would really mean, when you see that something is not being given or not being shared, I think you need to take a call and telling them. Today's article, please go through that. It's a very good article Robin Banerjee has written. So that's what he says. So the signature of the chartered accountant has so much of value, which is, if I see on the left hand side a CA signing, then I know that the company is in safe hands. Now, after the bank scam and all that, that's becoming a little, So people are thinking, oh my God, so are these people also hand in glove? No, actually not. You express what is being shown. Now here is an area where you will not be shown something. That is where the probing is required. And if they have not shown, then you will have to report actually. If you don't report, then you are into problems. Tomorrow fingers will get pointed at you. We always give attachments actually. When in doubt, what we do is, any form something is not available, we add an attachment saying that this is why we did this. That's all. Beyond that, I couldn't do anything, right? The maximum I could do is this. I couldn't get more information. This is why I did. I put an attachment and sent it. No problem. Absolutely not an issue. Always give a clarification letter, attach it along with the form. That's it.
So of the changes you mentioned, there's one change the institute is bringing, which is the UDIN, Unique Document Identification Number. So earlier you just attest the document. Now we have to get a UDIN number generated and then put that number in the document that's coming sometime in January. I don't know.
January 1st. Come January.
I think those of you are looking at business, you can get into the blockchain business actually. That is what is blockchain, right? So numbering a document and then scanning it and giving it off. So think, I don't know. That is my takeaway for you today. So why not a blockchain in the CA community on documentation? That is what is UDI, right? So once you scan the document, nobody can replace it or duplicate it. That's it. It becomes final. So if there are no more questions, then we wind up. Thank you. Thank you for the thanks.
Friends, I hope all of you enjoyed and enriched yourself on the capital law issues. Let us thank the speaker for his valuable time and knowledge sharing. There are applause. It is time to present a gift voucher to speaker as a token of appreciation and gratitude. May I request our branch vice chairman to come forward and do the honor. Friends, thank the speaker once again. Thank you, Shriram Bhatt. So, thank you very much for your active participation. Let's meet once again next Wednesday for study circle. Thank you.